Hello. Hello. Hopefully, hopefully, you have no idea. You have no idea. Is this even showing up? Is this even showing up? Is it working? Is it kind of working? Forget the background music, I guess. I don't know. Again, I updated my video drivers recently. The idea is that hopefully it looks better. Hopefully it sounds better. But then it's like the monkey paw, right? Where like everything else goes wrong. So I don't know what to tell you. Like I updated my video drivers recently because I thought maybe that was part of the issue with why like things were lagging and like the stream was kind of jagged. If you watched the last one, it was kind of like stop motion at times. And then it installs all this other crap along with it. It's like we've installed the AMD audio synthesizer modulator. And it's like, I didn't ask for that. And I guess maybe that's why the audio sometimes goes crunchy now. We had that experience a little bit during the last stream when I was just like, did the be right back thing. I came back and the audio was farting like mad. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not good. So I modified some things. And then yesterday, I just let my computer run audio for like 2 hours straight. 2 hour stream. I figured 2 hours straight of just letting the audio run and seeing if anything happened should be fine. And it was fine. And then tonight, it's like, again, we had one good stream last week. And it's all downhill from here. But hello, everyone. Hello, I can kind of see you down there. I guess I'll grab this back. Hopefully at least this mic sounds okay. If there's no music in the background, I guess it will be like a little less comfy. Wario music, says Christian. But can you hear me? I guess if you can hear me a little bit. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to go. I almost postponed the stream, which was definitely always intended to start at 9 p.m. and not 8 p.m. But I appreciate all of your patience very much. Hopefully we can still have a little bit of fun. We'll still try to do some things. I've set up so much for this stream. Like there are things that you cannot see. Although you might notice that I think you can see a little more to like the left and right now. And hopefully I look a little bit better. It's like, frame wise. And also hopefully the close-up cam is working okay. That was the last thing that I had trouble with. I had to reset like again for like the 40th time. Oh, maybe you can't hear me on this one, or can you? Okay, I think you can. It's just the meter for that was kind of off screen there. But I don't know. I don't know why last stream went so okay. And then you'd figure, okay, well this stream shouldn't be too bad. And everything was looking really great until I tried to get my earphone hooked up and it was downhill from there. But wait, thank you so much everyone for waiting. I hope you've had a great week. You're having a good weekend. I'm going to try my best to entertain you a little bit here. Happy NES Day, Christian. It is happy indeed. Dragon Gamer 231, first time joining one of these streams. I appreciate you stopping by. I hope that, again, we can have a little bit of fun here tonight. The plan is to hook up an NES and play some NES and also look at some other things I have to show you. It's Zelda's 40th anniversary, which is pretty cool. The release of the Disk System game, so I wanted to look at some things like that. I had all sorts of stuff to share with you. I spent so long getting all this ready, and then that's why it's so dumb when like things aren't working so right. But all the hearts that you're sending right now, thank you so much. Thank you all so much, everyone. Christian, I was blowing in that cartridge for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're not allowed to have fun. No, I was the one who said that. Haven't been keeping up much with the modern gaming world. Honestly, you usually play the older titles and there's still a lot of fun, Dragon Gamer. Yeah, like absolutely. That's what we're all here for. Now play the last episode. What, that one where I like played Mario 1 to like the SpongeBob Lost episode music. Hello, Neko. Hope you're having a good night. Hello, Matt Rogers. Okay, everyone. So seeing you and hearing you is fine. The fart noise maker. I don't know. I don't know why that starts happening. No, that's so dumb. You seem to have more meat on my bones? That's an interesting comment of things to say, but all right, everyone. I guess we'll start by looking at things. The first thing I was going to show you, I was going to introduce to you the things that I've beaten recently. Maybe it's all Ys's fault. YS, that series, YS, Ys, or the Wise series. I beat the third one on the Famicom, and like, it really was one of the weirdest games I've played. The first two, which are going to tie in great to the Zelda discussion we're about to have, were like much more, like top down, moving around. You don't swing a sword or anything like that. The whole games are played just by running into enemies to defeat them. But in terms of the third one, they turned it more into like a Zelda 2 kind of experience. And you'd think that means it would be way more difficult because Zelda 2 is kind of more difficult than Zelda 1, depending on who you ask. But East 3 was like just, it kind of happened. It was a really short game and then it was over. And yeah, but I'll probably still play the fourth one at some point. I seem to be beating them at like a pace of one per year, where I beat the first one in 2024, this one last year, and then this one in 2026. But the trick is that I've beat this one in like December 2024, and then the second one in like December, summer 2025, and then this one just the other day. So it's really like in a year and a half I've beaten them all. So one per year is probably enough. But I do want to talk about the Famicom carts a little bit. Now you're playing with power, the power of two, says Matt. I assumed, yes. Dragon Gamer, thank you so much. Fun watching play people games, and I enjoy some experimentation of your own. Well, very good. And that's what we're all here for, right? Just kind of the weird, we're going to hook some stuff up and hopefully have a little bit of fun. I didn't want to get close up with the Famicom games, though. So let's do that for a second. Maybe the close-up cam will work, maybe it won't. So Famicom games are a lot of fun. I really enjoy different Famicom cartridges, and you can tell when a Famicom game was released based on if the cartridge has bumps on it or not. Maybe you'll be able to see with some of these ones. Let's go to East 1, just for fun. East 1, you can see how it's like smooth edged here, but then you get like a bumpiness here. And that means that this Famicom game was released around 1988, which is kind of how you can tell from that. Hello Azul, hope you're having a good day. And it really comes obvious when you look at the Mega Man games here. You can see how the cartridges evolved over time, where from 1983 to 1987, it was smooth all over. There's none of that bumpiness at all. Along the top, you get smooth. On the back, you get smooth, but like this damage really easily. Like you can see kind of just how easily it gets marked up in the console and all that. So for 1988, what they introduced to the Famicom cartridges produced around that year is they add that bumpiness down here, you can see now. And that's similar to the bumpiness that we would get on our NES cartridges. Not here, but like here, obviously. You know, the same texture there. So they added that to Famicom cartridges as well in 1988 when it didn't have that originally. Not around this part yet, but at the bottom here and on the back. Now you get the bumpiness. And then from 1989 and onwards, the entire Famicom cartridge has bumps on it. There's no kind of smooth spot left at all anymore. So it's interesting to see how the Famicom carts evolved over time. And, you know, Mega Man's a great example of that because, you know, like right here, you can see released 1987 with no bumps. And then 1988, you get partial bumps. And then 1990, you get all the bumps. There we go, Super Tom brother. You gotta go now. Well, Neko, sorry about again the late start time here. We're gonna improvise. We're gonna do our best to still have a little bit of NES related fun. And I guess by next week I'll have to figure this all out. I don't know why the audio gets so crunchy. That's really unfortunate. That has to happen now. But hopefully we can get it all worked out. But thanks for stopping by, Neko, and everyone who's been patient and decided to drop by tonight. Hope that we have a little bit of fun, and take care. Have a good one. Did they change the type of plastic? So no, the plastic is still pretty much the same. Like the carts, again, aside from that bumpiness, it's funny because there are some carts. The red carts that have no bumps at all are like a different composition of plastic that people will swear is more brittle, because unfortunately there's no easy way to open the majority of Famicom carts. There's no screws on the back or anything like that. The way people open them is they like pry like a screwdriver in here, and then they kind of like get into these two holes and pry it open from the top as well, because it just snaps together. And those original red carts, which again, if you look at them, you can tell they're more of like a translucent red. It's weird. But those ones apparently shatter really easily when you're shoving your screwdriver in there trying to change the batteries and whatnot. And also, if you want to talk about how you know if a Famicom game has a battery inside or not, the ones with the blue stickers on the back, or rather the stickers with the blue text, do not have batteries. But the ones that have the red text do have batteries, so you can expect some battery backup from those. But that's just a quick kind of look at some Famicom stuff. And again, to talk a little bit about the East series. I like sharing which games I've kind of beaten since the last stream, and thought it'd be fun to talk about the Famicom stuff a little bit as well. But we'll definitely do more of a dedicated Famicom stream at some point. We're gonna try our best to kind of hack together this NES one, which hopefully it goes a little bit well. But yeah, have a great night, Neko. To make it rougher, well, like I said, and I'll show you one more time on the close-up cam. The reason they added that in particular is because it damages so easily. Like if there's like a really good angle I could get for you, like the scuffs show so easily when there's like none of that roughness on the cart. But then once they add that in, it's amazing how it's like, you know, it stays so much nicer. And again, so on this cart, it's still kind of smooth around here, but then again on the back, like it looks way nicer compared to the one that didn't have those bumps at all. And then eventually, you know, they add the bumps even on the sides as well. I mean, you can't do much about that. But yeah, so, you know, obviously, you know, kids got their hands on them, kids playing with them and stuff. It made more sense to make them a little more durable, I suppose. And then by the time they brought the NES over here, they realized, okay, we should probably make the carts like that as well. But again, so like, you know, if you have an NES cart, this is that smooth kind of part, which compares to the smooth part on the Famicom carts. But then, you know, the majority of it has kind of those bumps. So that's just kind of a quick look at NES carts and Famicom carts and all that. I find that fascinating. Famicom, you can really go down a whole rabbit hole, which, like I said, we will do one week when technical difficulties are not so rampant. There's so many different versions. I'll show you that red one I'm talking about. All sorts of different things. Kid Dracula's a super fun, but the cart has been driven up in price by speculation, Super Tom Brother. Yeah, unfortunately, Famicom games not as easy to collect as they once were. But Evil Azul, yes. I know you were playing Kid Dracula. That is a cool one. We need to definitely do a full playthrough of it one day. The grainier plastic is more durable. It might be misunderstanding. Well, it's like it doesn't scratch as easily. It's not about like the shattering, like the cart doesn't, you know, not breaking. Don't go stepping on it or anything like that. But it's more of, it doesn't show the scuffs and marks and damage as easily. It's very much, you know, they look nicer, I think, with the bumps on them. Compared to the original ones. But it's neat how just by looking at it, you know, you can kind of get a grasp of when this was released in the Famicom's life, because without that kind of bumpiness, you know, it's between 83 and 87. With just like the partial bumpiness, it's 88, and then beyond, it's pretty much 89 to like 94. And, you know, fascinating if you're a Famicom collector. Maybe not so much if you're not as into the Famicom, but I like little quirky things like that. Yeah, that's awesome, Azul. I know you've been doing lots of retro achievement stuff. Definitely join the Discord server if you're not in there, where you can see some of Azul's progress playing through some classic games with the achievements. And of course, we talked about a lot of other things as well. If you were in there, you would know all about the technical difficulties that I had. So just to reinstate reiterate those. What happened was everything was working great. And you'll notice I had like an ear pod in last time, an earphone, so that I could hear if there were any notifications. I could hear the music in the background. And that was just not connecting. Apparently it's a thing where like OBS does not like Bluetooth devices, even though it worked last week, but this week it decided it didn't want to work. Okay, so I gave up on the earphone. And then I went to start the stream, and just as I did, I tested the audio, and it was like blasted for no reason, because prior to doing the whole earphone thing and trying to get it to work, the microphone was working just fine, but somehow trying to troubleshoot that messed up the microphone. Okay, well, now I gotta fix that. And that was kind of a weird one. I just ended up finally just going into the Windows settings and like lowering the volume for the microphone, which was at 95 previously. But like, it should have probably been at that before it got really loud. So at some point it might just switch back and you won't be able to hear me, or it might get too loud, who knows what. But that's what happened. And then after that, this camera was no longer showing up in OBS. I predicted last week there would be some explosions at some point, but in this case they happened before the stream and not during the stream. But again, appreciate all of your patience here. So in regards to that, I haven't looked into that yet. You know, most people seem to probably still be on Discord for now. It's really a matter of like, let's see how it gets implemented. Let's see, if it's as bad as it sounds. If it is, then obviously, things might have to happen in that regard. It's hard finding alternatives though to things. It's like, where does everyone actually end up going? Does it really work as well as the other one? But we'll see. We'll see about all that when the time comes. What else can we look at though? Let's go over here. As I was mentioning, it is The Legend of Zelda's 40th anniversary. I cannot tell you what Nintendo did for Mario's 40th anniversary. I'm still in like Mario 35 mode. It blows my mind that that was as many years ago as it actually was, and still boggles my mind why we're not able to play that anymore, considering it was probably like my favorite online game ever. It was so much fun. I appreciate that, Dragon Gamer. Thank you. I really did. Again, so that crunchy audio thing bothers me so much because that's never happened before I updated my graphics drivers last week. It's like, why does graphics drivers have to have anything to do with audio? I don't know, but it is a little disappointing. So hopefully we can get that figured out. Again, like I said, I even did a test where I let my computer just, play the music for like 2 hours yesterday, and it didn't happen. But I guess once I start streaming, that's when it kind of gets angry. So another thing that will have to be troubleshooted, but hopefully the visuals look better. And again, the audio. I learned how to wear the microphone properly. So it's like, some things get better, some things get worse, but I am always trying to improve. And appreciate your patience in that regard, because there's so often, like, you'll do a test or something, but you really have to kind of do it in the moment sometimes to get the real feedback. Miss Mario 35 chants, I agree. I agree. We should all just use IRC, says Real. All right, everyone, hashtag the game display server irc.retro.net. Don't actually go to that. I don't know if that exists, but wow, I haven't used IRC in years and years. Let's just email Christian. That's it. So everyone, we're gonna get a newsletter every couple days, every other day at like 6 p.m. I'll send out the newsletter on what's going on, and you guys can get that. Internet relay chat, Christian. Oh man. Uh-oh. I'm old grandpa here. I've used IRC. No one knows what that is anymore. MIRC and all the different chat clients you used to be able to get back then. But all right, everyone. This is the original Famicom Disk System release of whatever this guy was called, the Green Elf Man. Actually, I guess it wasn't even actually named after him. It was named after the Green Elf girl. Let's switch back to the close-up cam again. And give me 1 second here to open this up for you. How many people have seen a Famicom disk system game before? You don't see them too often around, especially you don't find the ones that work in this day and age. Isn't always the easiest either. But here we go. Here's what a Famicom disk system game looks like. Comes in a nice kind of square plastic package here. At one point it costed 3,500 yen. And inside here you get a big old manual and the case containing the disc itself. So you could go to like a, disc writer and just have it write the discs for you, or you could kind of buy them more of a package like this. And then I think you could pay like a couple hundred yen and get the manual separately. But so here we go. So you get like some stickers and stuff. These two stickers are the ones that would end up going on the Famicom disc. But otherwise, it's just a really nice manual. And if you read like, people reminiscing about Japanese retro games and stuff, one thing they often talk a lot about is just how much fun they even had, looking through this big chunky Legend of Zelda manual back in the day. Like, there's just so much kind of content here. Awesome imagery. You can just, read that all day long. Of course, you get like some maps and stuff in the back. But again, so this is what released 40 years ago today. That is why we're celebrating the Legend of Zelda's birthday here. Do I have any of the Zelda trading cards? I do not have Zelda trading cards. IRC is old school, early days of the internet chat server is sort of similar to, oh yeah, BBS, there's another one, the good old bulletin board system. Daichi, magnetic discs such as those have a shorter life than cartridges, right? So I have so many issues when it comes to Famicom disk system games not working. And, you know, the problem is that the disk systems themselves are also very kind of volatile. Like, I don't know if I even have a working disk system right now, because even ones that I changed the belts like a decade ago, the belts just kind of deteriorate like nothing, unfortunately. So I might have to do some Famicom disk system repair. But then you get the disk here. Let's open that nicely. And then that's your disk, so you gotta insert side A. And then, of course, you got to put side B in. And the way that, you know, saving when it comes to disk system games works is like it saves just by rewriting part of the disk. It's not like there's any, you know, save memory inside of the disk system or anything like that. To save your Zelda game, it just rewrites the part of the disk that is like allocated for the files. So that's kind of how that works. And that's why, again, it's, you know, it's very touchy in terms of like if you can lose the data or not. Honestly, did not know Zelda trading cards existed. The only way to find out is try, right? They do... Oh, really? So they were from back then. Hello, Crazy Mitchell boy. Hope you're having a great night. Thank you so much for stopping by the stream here. But you missed manuals, Azul. So it's funny because last time we were looking at Metal Gear Solid Subsistence for the PS2, released in like 2005. And you wouldn't think that would be a problem. And yet... you know, already in 2005, it's telling you to go online to get the full PDF of the manual. The full 66 pages were online. They only print you like this 16-page short, you know, useless thing and included it with the game. So for 2 decades now, we've been, you know, fighting against getting, you know, complete manuals with our games, which is rather unfortunate. Yeah, so they had the disc writer machines, exactly, Super Tom Brothers. So again, you could get it in like the complete package like this, or you could just like take any disc to, you know, the store that had a disc writer machine, and then insert your disc in. It would write the sides, and then again, you could pay like a couple hundred yen if you wanted a manual to go along with that as well. So yeah, that is, again, the original release of The Legend of Zelda here. And if we compare to what we got in North America, here's what we got here. Of course, big old cardboard box with The Legend of Zelda on it. There were a couple of variations of this. Like this one, for example, does not have the window that allows you to see into there and see that it's a gold cartridge. It's the Canadian version, so, you know, it's gotta be weird. But it does not mean that like it wasn't gold inside. I'm pretty sure that every single cartridge released in Canada was the gold version of the Zelda cartridge. Meanwhile, in the US, there was also the gray cart with like the gold label, which I think looks really neat. And again, for a long time, I didn't even know that this existed until like a decade and a half ago. I went on a trip down there, and I saw that. Like, oh, that's really cool. So you know, I picked that up as well. But otherwise, you know, of course, Zelda is known for its gold cartridge, so we might as well open up this guy as well as we get ever closer to actually like hooking up an NES console, which is coming ever so soon. And we couldn't kill the Pool's voice properly. Oh yes, because of course it used the microphone on the Famicom, second player's controller. That's, you know, that would do all that. Where do you go here? Japan had, yes. Okay, so let's get close again. So one other thing I forgot to mention in regards to the Famicom games is we talked about how, you know, from 83 to 87, you had the cartridges that were completely smooth. And then 88, you get the ones that are like partly bumpy with a little bit of smoothness left. And then 89 onwards, you get all the bumpy. But some games, of course, were so popular that they were produced for so long, like Super Mario Brothers, you know, originally released in 1985, it's all smooth in the beginning. And then, for example, we see, you know, 1988, you get Super Mario Brothers 3, so you get the bit of bumpiness here, but then it's still smooth up and around here. But again, Mario 1 was like so popular that it even got had another production run later on, so you will find some versions of it, again, even though its original release was in 85, that does have that bumpiness all over, which is pretty cool. And this one also has the Famicom family mark on the back, which was introduced around this time because that's kind of the Japanese version of the Nintendo seal of quality, where you'll see like, you know, earlier Famicom games don't have that. So let's see when they introduce it. So here, not on Rockman 1, but then a year later, Rockman 2. You see the Famicom family mark. start showing up. So it's a little bit more Famicom trivia there. But like I said, we'll have a dedicated Famicom day at some point when hopefully things aren't glitching and exploding as much. And we'll have a little bit more fun with that. They changed the weakness of Pole's voice to arrows, but didn't change the description in the manual. No, that happens. That absolutely happens. That is very, 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 very true. But all right, let's get Zelda 1 out here. Just give me 1 second. So here's what Zelda 1 looks like. At one point, this would have been $39.99. So very comparable to like the 3,500 yen for the disc system version, $39.99 for The Legend of Zelda. I don't think is too bad of a deal. And if we pull that out, there's your nice shiny Zelda 1 cartridge. Looking pretty snazzy. Why is Bowser looking like Discount Bowser? Did I do something? Is Bowser somewhere? Where's Bowser? Where do you see Bowser? Is he in the background somewhere? Is he in the background? Also, how is the video looking tonight? Is it like as choppy as it was last time? Hopefully like the close-up cam and the big cam are both working good. Because like I said, I did update some drivers and stuff, which seemed to fix a lot of kind of the like the lagginess issues that would come from streaming sometimes, but then it's now introducing audio issues. Why updating video drivers caused audio issues? I could not tell you. Oh, on SMB1, okay, I see, on the cartridge. Understood. Where did my SMB1 cart go? Honestly, I have to say I like this for the Super Mario Brothers 1 art. Again, compared to what we got. A little bit more going on. Of course, you know, PAL region, some of the versions did get this as well. Definitely kind of two different ends of the spectrum there. No lags as the Game Room Awakens. Hope you're having a great night. Thanks for stopping by. You have to be careful about repros of Famicom games like we do NTSC and PAL. Have you come across any? So in recent years, as you know, Famicom games are getting more expensive, you definitely do see some more repros than you used to, like with Rekka and Lickle, which is Little Samson. So you do have to be careful, unfortunately, these days for repros, even in the Famicom market. But you can kind of tell, like one way to, I don't know if you can see this inside the case, that is often used to kind of tell if it's a real Famicom game or not. Let me get a light here for you. Is if you look inside the bottom, can you see? Yeah, you can see those letters inside the slot there. Like that's like TB1, and let's like look at Mario, for example. You should see some letters in there as well. That's a good indication that it's like an actual Famicom cart shell from back in the day. It's not foolproof, and you will find like some Famicom carts that don't have that. Again, someday we'll talk even more in depth about Famicom carts, and you know there was lots of different manufacturers of them and such, but you know these ones that have kind of the standard shell, you should see letters like that in there. But there are exceptions too, so like unfortunately it's not foolproof. All your friends had the gold Zelda cartridge, but my Zelda was gray because you didn't get an NES until SNES launched, and SNES when N64 launched, but you're very happy to have it nonetheless. No, for sure. So yeah, so you're saying that like this might have been a later release. And again, I don't think that this one was ever in Canada. You will see that this is like a USA version. I'm pretty sure every version that was ever released in Canada was the gold one. But that's cool that you got the gray one. Because again, I think it looks pretty nice. Hello, Dragon. Oh, we got Hackin' Quackin'. Yeah, we were also looking at the special Mario 1 variant, yes, where it has the bumps on it and the Famicom family symbol, which is not very common compared to the other one. It's not like super valuable or anything like that, but it's just a neat thing to kind of look for amongst other carts. Black labels were so awesome though. As a kid, you thought that was a super professional style. So like this guy. Yes. Yeah, it was cool how they kind of had that standard there. Do your NES games have French, says Christian? No. So what's it called? Like there were French versions, but I think they were like the France versions, right? So sometimes what the French-speaking parts of Canada would do is I think they would literally just get like the French version, even though, like, you know, as you'll see here on the box and on the cart, like it will have French, like on the cart as well, but there's no French anywhere in the game. And like, so in the manuals too, you guys want to get the manual out and we'll have a look at that. So what would happen often, we get a poster. Might as well take this guy out to make things a little bit easier perhaps. Put that out there. So what happens with the Canadian versions, of course, is that like you get an extra chunky manual. So it's also the mode d'emploi, and you'll get the English portion first, and then like halfway through, it will switch over to the French portion. Or actually, well, that's how it is sometimes. But in this case, they literally put the English and French on the same pages. That is rare to see it done like that. Usually it will be like, again, the manual will be extra thick, and they'll just put the English version first, and then like the back half will be all French. But no, in this one, they literally kind of oddly layer the two languages side by side, which is pretty strange. Posters and games were basically a norm. The Atari 2600 had one, and even the Game Boy Pocket. Yeah, so this one, I mean, posters also make like good advertisements. And this isn't like you know, a map of Zelda or anything like that. Map of the game. You have to buy Nintendo Power if you wanted to get that, but we can still unfold this and have a bit of a look. Even on your poster, you get French. So you get some different things. Donkey Kong Classic. So yeah, you can tell this is like a little bit of a later thing we got going on here. What games we got at the bottom? Tetris, Super Mario Brothers 2, Rad Racer, Star Tropics, everybody! Worthy of being featured on this poster. And this came with like a few games. This was certainly not, you know, Zelda exclusive. And there's definitely a few like variants and such of it as well. But yeah, that's kind of a neat thing. You have the Famicom Super Tom Brothers. So this is why it's important to join live. And again, as weird as this stream may have ended up being, I appreciate all your patience, appreciate all of your understanding so much. We don't talk about it. It's not there. You're imagining things. And again, I was advised by someone much more knowledgeable on the subject that you might not want to show that on stream despite the fact that it's completely harmless. So again, join live because you never know what you might see that like you never end up seeing again. Used to play Star Tropics. Actually, it was a pretty fun game, says Dragon Gamer. Yeah, Star Tropics is wonderful. Again, you may have seen the 4-hour video I made of it a couple of months ago now. And it's funny because just today, I had a comment from someone on my Star Tropics Chapter 2 video uploaded back in like 2012 where someone said I was stuck in the game and needed help. And this was the first result on Google. So apparently, like my super old Star Tropics playthrough that I always debated, do I even leave this up? It's like, oh, the quality and stuff. Apparently that is like super high in like the Google algorithm or whatever. And I still get comments on it from time to time, despite the fact the quality is so bad. But it comes up and it still helps people, I guess. So I think that's pretty cool. Used to play Star Tropics, actually. Yeah. Star Tropics is one of those games you want to eventually do retro achievements on, Azul. I've never actually looked at what retro achievements it has. I'd be curious. I'd be very curious to see what it has. Yeah, yeah. Don't try to make sense of anything, right? That's kind of where we're at, unfortunately. But yeah, that's Zelda 1, unboxed for all to see. Did I fold that back up correctly? Maybe. Or was it folded this way before? Hopefully it all goes back in there nicely. But yeah, that's Zelda 1. That's our trip down Zelda 1 lane. And we're going to try one of these once we hook up the NES in a few minutes. Again, I appreciate you all stopping by tonight. Hope you're having fun. As odd as the stream may be going. You learned some new and interesting things from your new video on Star Tropics, Dragon Gamer. Well, I'm really glad to hear that. Thank you. Thank you so much for checking it out. Again, I had so much fun making that. That's like one of the most fun things I've probably ever made for YouTube. It's like 4 hours of talking about my favorite game. I don't know if anyone else would be interested, but to hear that so many others are enjoying it too, that really means a lot. So thank you. Okay, what do I want to do next? So we've unboxed Famicom Zelda. We have unboxed the non-Famicom Zelda. I'm going to need some space in a second here. So we're going to start moving on probably to unboxing and hooking up an NES console. Because I just kind of thought that would be a fun thing to do. And I'm just kind of trying to rearrange my workstation here. Again, part of what happened is that now you can see more to the left and to the right is I don't have as much space to hide things off to the sides anymore. Like this laptop is pushed as far to the side as it can be, and you can still kind of see a corner of it here. And over here, I think you can see more of this than you ever did before, but I'm really glad to hear that it is, looking better than it did last time. And again, sounding better too, because I realized how to wear the microphone properly, which is hopefully still there. It's like, I can't see it looking down at it. So it's like, uh-oh, it fell off hours ago. You guys haven't even been able to hear what I'm saying, but it's probably even better that way. Can't hear my yap going. But okay, let me move these things aside for you all. Where should I put this? Over here, and put this here. The Zelda box can go here. Mario 1, that can go back over here. And the Famicom games. I think we all understand what a Famicom game is now. We'll move that over here. Okay, very good. So, years ago, I did a video about my boxed NES collection, boxed NES console collection, as I thought I had just about all the different variations that had been released in North America. Because there's a ton of them. You get like the Power Set, the deluxe set, so many different ones. The action set with the Zapper Mario Duck Hunt, very, 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 common and popular. It was a great set, of course. You're welcome. You enjoy making new discoveries or seeing what others have found. Someday you may even be able to build upon it. That'd be awesome, Dragon Gamer. Very, very cool. So Tropics 3 should happen. Also, Mike Jones for Smash. The fact that there hasn't even been a trophy, even like a sticker, or what's the newest thing? Like the spirits, right? That's what they're called in Ultimate. They don't even need have a description. It's just like a PNG shoved in there of like random characters. You would think Star Tropics could have fit in at least some way. Nintendo just does not like Star Tropics at all, though. At least, Nintendo of Japan cannot stand Star Tropics. Nintendo of America throws us some bones sometimes, like it was included with the NES Mini and stuff like that. But it would be nice if Japan acknowledged it at least a little bit, because it's funny, as English-speaking gamers and Western gamers, we care a lot about the Japanese exclusive. We'll put them up on this pedestal. I mean, you can probably name a few, of course, like Mother 3 and all that. Where in Japan, it's like they don't even care if a game only came out here. It's like, whatever. No need to think about that. But no, it would be nice to see them acknowledge Star Tropics a little bit more. You love my NES collection videos, Prof City. Thank you so much. Really glad to hear that you enjoyed things like that. And yeah, hopefully you're enjoying today's video too, where like I said, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to unbox an NES console. And it's not going to be this one. This is not the NES console we're unboxing, but I don't have too much room to work with back here. I do want to show this one to you, because this is one I did not own a few years ago when I did that, all of the boxed NES consoles in my collection. And it's just such a weird one from like back in the pretty early days of the NES, where it's the base console with two controllers. Hopefully you've been seeing me this whole time. I didn't forget to switch back from the close-up cam. Looks like we're good. The only thing it comes with that's like a little bit out of the ordinary is the official Nintendo's player guide. It comes with a book. It's like, what a weird bundle. So I had no idea that this existed back then, but several commenters were kind to point out that I did not own it, so I was able to eventually find it. And yeah, the only thing it comes with, aside from like the console and the controllers, no game, but you get a book. You love that book as a kid. Now, Astafu, again, to be fair, it's a pretty darn awesome book. Your gaming console wants me to read? Blasphemy. It's like exactly, right? It's like you bought the gaming console so you didn't have to read, but then you got a book so then you do have to read. But I mean, Nintendo Power and all that was awesome. And, it includes, I might as well get up. Look at it, nice and close. There's some cool things in there. We can discuss ever so briefly. Here's your book, the official Nintendo's Player's Guide. And remember when like the games had different series, like the sports series? I'll get a little bit closer for you all. Like, the sports series, action series, light gun series, of course, the programmable series. Oh yeah, we did so much of that in North America. Excitebike, try to load and it just like hangs. Again, we will look at the Famicom data recorder someday. That's definitely something I want to do on a stream like this at some point. Seen that book before, but didn't know it was bundled with the console Prop City. Again, this is like a really obscure bundle. Of course, you could get it separately as well. But yeah, for whatever reason, they decided that it should be bundled with the console too. Matt, well, that's really kind of you, Matt. Thank you. It really means a lot that you're watching and commenting and checking everything out. And again, your kind words, that really means a lot. Thank you. Let's see here. Nintendo? Did I say something wrong, Real? So it features like some pretty in-depth guides for a few games. Is there like a good table of contents? Did we miss that somewhere? Probably. Like these games, have some pretty in-depth reviews, and then like there's a whole bunch of other ones where it just kind of briefly goes over, but it gives you a really good glimpse of what was the big thing at the time. Like I think this was 87 this book came out, and yeah, so 87 you can see like right here, and it has reviews for like 90 games. That's pretty much all the games that were out for the NES at the time. Just the kind of the beginnings of the third-party games were beginning to trickle on from Konami and Tecmo and all that. The book made me jones so hard for so many games based on the pictures as the well, that's it. That's why this whole bundle, NES bundle, was clearly like the most, devious marketing strategy. Like you get some awesome maps from The Legend of Zelda. You get a whole bunch of stuff about Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. You get Super Mario Brothers, of course. You get Ghosts and Goblins, everyone's favorite NES game. What else you got? Of course, you had to have some Metroid in there. Did we miss anything? Zelda 2 featured as well. You got, Gradius. Just a whole bunch of like really awesome NES games from the early days. Rad Racer. So yeah, like again, like you would read through this book and of course you'd want to buy and check out all these games. Arkanoid, so it's like some of the littler, shorter ones now. Castlevania's featured in here. Goonies 2 has like a massive section in here. Just goes to show you how big Goonies 2 was back in the day. It's a cool book. Yeah, thank you, Hackin' Quackin'. Kind of wish you had one of those. The fact that Excitebike didn't actually save on NES made you mad as a kid. That's like the one good thing about playing it on, the modern consoles. You can make like a save state or whatever, and load back in your custom level. Wrecking Crew, of course, was another one. Oh, you found a cool trick during Zelda 2, Dragon Gamer. Ikari Warriors on the table of contents. Again, so let's see what else we got in here. It's funny some of the games that they include. Oh, here's Goonies 2. Like, here you go. Goonies 2. Very, very fun. There's the map for Goonies 2 all laid out for you. And then you get, like some kind of smaller sections with each of them right here. It's funny because Stadium Events is listed here. This was during that brief period where like Stadium Events was its own thing before Nintendo got their hands on it and turned it into, so here's that, oh, there it is, there it is. There it is, everyone, go back in time and buy like 1,400 copies of it. Yeah, before it was repackaged as world-class track meet. It's funny that they didn't do the same with like Athletic World. This is called Family Fun Fitness, World of Athletics, and then, Stadium Events. If only we knew. Apparently in the GBA port of Excitebike would let you save a track, but only one at a time. That's cool. When there was no in-game hints and they had to publish books for that. Well, that's the thing, right? Like that's definitely a component of like, why games were so challenging, because then you'll call the Nintendo tip hotline, then you'll get a subscription to Nintendo Power, then you'll buy the book. So, there was a whole industry surrounding like, games being difficult. I'm over here. Hopefully you can probably still hear me. Sometimes I forget I have like I'm wearing the mic and I'm used to if I turn my head away, you won't be able to hear me anymore. Like this Jeff Roven guy. How about that guy? How to win at Nintendo. How to win at Nintendo 2. How to win at Nintendo 3. How to win at Nintendo 4. I should have grabbed the rest of them. I don't know why I didn't. But like these are pretty funny. And then he makes ones like how to win at Super Mario games, how to win at Nintendo Sports games, how to win at Super Nintendo games, how to win conquering Super Nintendo games. Now we're getting serious. So again, the whole industry about surrounding strategy guides and different books of those varieties. Something I've thought of doing a stream where like we just read the reviews in these from back in the day. I did make a video a little while ago where I did pick out some funny reviews, where I think like Deadly Towers got a better review than Contra. So you find some weird stuff in videos like that back then. They had so many mistakes in them, Astifu. Absolutely. Absolutely. How to beat Nintendo games? Get good, says Chance. That's true. Very, very true. And the last section I want to look at in here, because this has always been funny to me. Here's the coming attractions, everyone. Get ready for all these games. I bet you can't wait to play. Like, how about this one? The return of Donkey Kong, everybody. This is your chance to get hold of that barrel-throwing, mischief-making rascal Donkey Kong and take control. Nintendo's best-known character is back, and he's up to more tricks and trouble than you can imagine. Was there ever an NES game called Return of Donkey Kong? I don't think so. I don't think that ever happened. And it's not like it's, you know, talking about Junior or something like that. But those are very clearly already listed here. Donkey Kong Jr., and Donkey Kong 3. So it's like, what is this mysterious Donkey Kong game? I guess maybe Donkey Kong Classics or something, but I don't know. I don't know. And what else we got here? How about this really cool game called Star Force, everybody? Join forces with Star Force to defeat the evil and mystery-shrouded planet Gratis. You are the hero Final Star, armed with your Starbeam gun. You must face many enemies. Gadoa, Splitta, Atori, each with different attack patterns. From Tecmo. Exactly. Oh boy. The writers sometimes took liberties. Just, oh man, we have some space to fill. Just make up a game that's never actually coming out. And, you know, and stick it in there. How about Dragon Warrior? Or Dragon Power, which was, of course, Dragon Ball in Japan. And even, like, in France, I think they actually localized it as Dragon Ball. Because that was, like, the only place at the time that the anime was out, apparently. Something along those lines, where the rest of the world hadn't got the anime yet. Which is pretty weird. They spelled Wizards and Warriors wrong. Where? Oh, Wizards and Warriors. Oh, that's good. That's good. Good catch on that one. Did no one proofread this thing? I sure hope someone got fired for that blunder. Dragon Power, oh my gosh. Yeah, Dragon Power is not the top tier game. I just wanted to see what they said about it though. All right, but it's funny, like they still call him Goku though. Teamed with Goku and Nora, your mission is to find the dragon's 7 crystal balls. With the help of the Wind Wave and Magic Pole, you surmount many dangers on a mission that takes you from deep inside mountains to a distant city. There you go. Mark your calendars, everyone, for Dragon Power. It's going to be good. Tecmo has so many bangers on the NES. We look the other way. Even Tecmo Baseball was awesome. I mean, I like Star Force. Like, I don't cut him up for it. I just think, you know, it's funny to laugh about for sure. But yeah, that is this bundle, which again, I didn't have it the last time we looked at boxed NESs, so I thought it'd be fun to kind of talk about that here. And the other boxed NES bundle I did not have when I made that video was the basic set. And I actually made like a whole, I think, 15-minute video joking about that on my channel. And that's the one that comes with no game, no book, and only one controller. So like basic as it gets. And you know, it's just kind of a weird set to release later in the NES's life, kind of a budget thing. I guess if you weren't ready for the Super Nintendo yet. You like Dragon Power Z, says Dragon Power Z Benner. How about Dragon Ball, or rather Dragon Power GT? How about that one? Technically, they've gone back and forth on Donkey Kong's lineage many times, right? Like, is Cranky his like father or his grandfather, or who knows how it works, right? But yeah, that is the control deck with free official Nintendo Player's Guide inside. I thought I would share with you all, so hope you enjoyed that. And we'll put that down over there. We'll put the official Player's Guide with it. All right, everyone. So the next thing I'm going to attempt to do, the next trick up my sleeve, which we'll probably find more than one way to go horribly, horribly wrong. So don't go anywhere. Keep your eyes peeled, because there's a lot of moving parts to this as well. I'm so disappointed about the music not working right. I guess, you know, my mistake was I let the music run for 2 hours and it was fine. I guess I'll do like a private stream or something, and I'll let the music play during that. But if anyone has any ideas on why the music might get crunchy, let me know. Silly, 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 silly things. Again, updates help one thing and then they break another thing. And I've told the story many times about I had a Windows 8 computer I got in like 2013, and then around 2018, it just started like crashing out of nowhere. I would turn it on and within like 5 to 10 minutes it would crash. And I'm like, okay, it's going, time to back up everything. But then I thought about it, I'm like, why would this start all of a sudden? A 5-year computer, it's not that old. And then I realized the only thing that had happened since the last time I turned it off and it was working, and then when I turned it on later, was a Windows update had happened. So I'm like, okay, well maybe that did something. So I actually went onto like an old message board, old tech help forums, which probably don't even exist anymore, and said like, is there anything I can do about that? And there actually is a way to like go in and remove Windows updates. So I was able to go in and remove that last update. Computer worked great for like another 3 years. So updates, you never know. You never know. Was this the computer that doesn't connect to Wi-Fi? Which computer is that again? Which computer is that? But okay. So that's my update story. Hopefully that's not too bad. Again, if the background music is like the one thing that doesn't work, I kind of like the background music though, and I kind of like being able to hear it on my bootleg AirPods. Let's move on though, everyone. Let's move on. Now, it is time for the main attraction. It's time for the power sets. I don't know, I just thought this would be kind of a cool one to set up because it's not a bundle that you see all that often. You've got the power pad, you've got the zapper, hopefully it's okay to show that on stream, you've got the controllers, you've got the NES, and you also get the 3-in-1 bundle cartridge, which comes with Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, I should add, Duck Hunt, and World Class Track Meet. Let's get a boombox. Well, that's it. Well, but see, I can't. I mean, I guess I could, play it. That's true. But then it won't be captured by the computer. I guess if it was captured by the microphone a little bit, it would be okay. But does it come with the power glove, Azul? No, unfortunately, it does not. It does not come with the power glove. You had to buy that separately. And as you can see, it's right there, though. Funny thing, though, I don't think anyone ever really talks about this. And we'll probably do like a more dedicated power glove stream sometime. But as you'll see, there's that M in the corner. This is the medium-sized power glove. And there was also one released as a large-sized power glove. I don't think that anyone out there really distinguishes between the two. So if you have a power glove, do you even know if it's the big one or the the medium one or the large one? It's like who even thinks about it, right? But it was actually released in 2 different sizes, which is kind of funny to think about. But yeah, so that's that. But we're not unboxing the power glove today. Not enough power then. All right, what else can we do? It's so bad, Azul. It is just so bad. So let's unbox this guy. Let's go to the close-up cam for a second, though. How zoomed out are we here? If I do like that, how much of any of this can you see? Back in the day, at everyone's favorite store, Zellers, you could buy this for the low price of $319.99 Canadian funny bucks. Miss 58 minutes, well, thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you're having a great night. Don't worry, it's funny because we would just be ending now. Have I really been streaming for an hour so far? It has been a fast hour, I'll admit. As jank as the stream kind of has been, I really appreciate you all sticking by, for your support, for your patience. I hope you're having a bit of fun still. You have an awesome place used to think, wait, this is... Thank you, Lord. But yeah, that is the power set here. What am I doing here? Whoop, making you all dizzy. I guess I'll have to do a thing like this, maybe? We'll unbox it from this angle, and then we'll zoom in as necessary. So you open it like this, and you'll see you get like 3 layers in there, which is pretty darn cool. We'll try our best to carefully remove the top layer Open that up a little bit, pull this guy out. So the first thing you of course get inside the power set is the power pad coming in a box that looks like this. Now, this is what you got if you bought the bundles, you bought the bundle. But if you bought the power pad separately, it came in a box that looked like this. So obviously, there was no need to like include this whole thing inside of here. And if you bought this, it still included world-class track meet, which is pretty cool. This has a sticker on top that says it was $79.99. So considering this whole bundle costs $320, right? So remove that, you're looking at $240 for like the NES, the Duck Hunt, Mario Duck Hunt, the Zapper, the controllers, and then this part of it's worth $80. But again, who knows? Exactly. When they were released, when they were priced. Different stores could also be like more expensive than the other two. Pricing I don't think was as consistent as it is these days, where you expect to find like a switch for the manufactured suggested retail price, kind of the same like wherever you go. But back then stores could kind of be cheaper or more money gouging if they wanted to be. Azul, well, thank you. NES being unboxed per hour, 0 to 1 says Chance. We're getting there. In today's, so of course, you got to adjust and all that. $70 for the power pad. I mean, power pad's cool, and it came with the game. I mean, I guess Amiibo Festival did too. If I had a choice between Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival or the power pad, I'll leave it up to you to figure out which one you think I'd choose. The Family Fun Fitness Pad with Stadium events. I do. Oh, I should have grabbed that. Okay, like I said, we're going to do a Famicom stream sometime, and I could have compared that as well. I'm afraid to leave the room because everything might blow up. It's been very fragile tonight. I'm going to do it, though. I'm going to go get the Family Fun Fitness Pad, since we're looking at all this anyway, and I'll be right back. All right, we'll see how long you can hear me for. So we're going to go out into the wild here. You'll probably hear me start to break up at some point. Again, considering, just pretend it's the music. Pretend it's like how the music. Tonight. Okay, so we are back, everyone. Right here, you get the Family Trainer Fun Fitness Pad. So originally, this was released in like North America as well. Of course, it's not compatible because the plugs on the end are different. But like Bondi did release this, I think, with the original, stadium events and Athletic World. And then when Nintendo said, okay, we want this to, we want to do our own branding on it, then we get the power pad that we know. But it is cool to see that, this is what they got in Japan. And there was a lot more games for it in Japan. Unlike the light gun and the zapper, where we had way more games than Japan had for it, Japan had way more games for this than we ever got. Which is unfortunate, but that be how it goes. Dragon Gamer, how's everyone doing? I hope you're all having fun. Hope you're all having a great time. Did the audio explode? It looks like hopefully it's still okay. Looks like hopefully it's still going well there. But yeah, there you go, Super Tom Brother. That's a bit of a look at that. It's snowing yet again. Oh, I know, right? Hopefully we get the spring soon. Spring would be nice. I could go for a little more spring, I think. But let's move the power pad away. So we're not going to set up the power pad today. I have no room back here to be doing any sort of running or dancing or anything of that variety, but that's what that looks like inside there. Let us continue and pull out the rest of the console here. So you want to be careful with the styrofoam, of course. Bring that on out. And we will move the box out of the way for now, or actually the box can kind of go here so everyone can see it. Yeah, and Japan likes the aerobics and stuff, I guess. Can I zoom this out a little bit? That's as zoomed out as it's gonna get, but all right, we'll try. We'll try with what we got. Here is the Power Set, everybody. Oh, that's a perfect angle there. So you got your manuals and all that. You got the game that comes in it. So the game, again, it comes with Super Mario Brothers, it comes with Duck Hunt, and it comes with World Class Track Meet. The weirdest thing is that there is another version of this label. Can you spot the difference? Can you spot the difference between these two labels? I bet you probably can. Dance for us, Andrew. Dance, says the Gamer Awakens. Not today. Maybe someday. Not quite today, though. The black text. Do we see black text somewhere? Hackin' Quackin' got it. Fire Mario. He's palette swapped on this one. So this is the Canadian version. So it comes in with this, which was a Canadian set. In America, you guys got Mario with red overalls and a white shirt. Now, this is very clearly meant to replicate this image right here, where he is indeed wearing white overalls and a red shirt. So not sure why the American version got him with a different clothes on, but that's kind of weird, huh? One has Fire Mario, one has bootleg Fire Mario. Look at the bottom. Okay, where am I? Oh! There's no seal of quality on this one. I didn't even notice that. This one's like super fake. It's probably like an earlier release then. And I guess, you know, since it came, oh, and the text too. Yeah, the text is even like more orange. That's so weird. It's like they released like a draft version of it or something by accident. The cartridge was made after Labor Day, obviously. Oh boy. But yeah, so that's a kind of funny variant. That's always fun to look at. But otherwise, this is what an NES console looked like back in the day. When you got your controllers, you got your zapper. So another thing that's been pointed out to me is that there is also a version of this set that came with a gray zapper. But that would have been like really short-lived because, you know, we all know originally it was gray. And then that was just too realistic apparently, so then they made it orange. And this is like not the earliest NES set, but like not the latest one either. So, you know, I think it had like a really short run with the gray gun, and then they kind of switched it over to the orange one. So that one's pretty rare. How many screws? So yeah, this cart is a 3-screw. Of course, you can always look at the top and you can see the ones with 5 screws don't have the clips at the top. So this one's 5. And that one's 3. But yeah. You always see the correct one and you're in the USA? Maybe I got like a prototype one or something like that. I don't know. It's too weird, right? Again, without that, like it is real, right? Should we open this up someday? Is there actually like some super secret fake game in there? No, I've played this before. I know it's the real deal, again, unless it's like a repro, but I've had that forever, so I doubt it's a repro. But yeah, that's the game there. Again, so your RF cables. Here's what you get in terms of paperwork and all that. I want to unbox a little bit of this. So it's interesting because you get the book for the Power Pad, which also includes instructions for World Class Track Meet. But then they also put World Class Track Meet in the 3-in-1 instruction manual as well, which is kind of weird. But yeah, so you get like that. Again, one of those posters, much like the one we just looked at inside of Zelda there. The Power Pad manual. You get the Zapper manual, which is pretty cool. You get this guy right here. This is the Nintendo Entertainment System. Important warranty information. You have 3 great light guns and they all still work too. Yeah, they're pretty durable. There's no reason that the zappers should stop working. There you go. Fill it out, send it back. All that kind of juicy information. How did you learn about the Nintendo Power Entertainment System? TV advertising, radio advertising, magazine advertising, newspaper advertising, store display or salesperson, from friends, relatives, or family member. Family member has asked for it or some other way. Please specify. There you go, everyone. How did you find out about the Nintendo Entertainment System? And there is your manual with the French version as well. So like this one will probably have like all the English. And then at the back, it has the French version. Is this where you can also find like the part list that I always get kind of a good laugh out of? Maybe at the very back. Yeah, that's the French version though. So I think it's really cool that back in the day, you could have ordered replacement parts for things that like we would love if this still existed, but obviously, you know, it doesn't. Like right here. So AC adapter, $17. RF switch, $16. Okay, fine. But look at all the ROM things you could have got. You could get, you know, gyros, 2 set for $10. A 2 set of ROM gyros for $10. You could get the blocks, block trays, blocks, colored blocks, sold as a set for $3 for stack up. Someone go back and get me a bunch of those. Like, oh, I love this. Like, I love this list. I think it's so cool that you could have just, you know, bought those things. Like, you know, the sleeves, game pack sleeve, $1. Game pack manual. I guess you could get like a manual for any game you wanted. You know, load up on some little Samson manuals and some Bubble Bobble 2 and all that. Hi, Lucky Bacon. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you're having a good one. We're having a bit of a weird stream here, but it's coming around. It's coming around. No background music though. Comfy levels are down an all-time 25% as a result of no comfy music today. Blame the graphics drivers update for some reason wrecking the music on my PC. Hopefully I'll get it figured out. It's funny because I'm reading all of your chats from a computer that always had a very similar problem. One time I was in the middle of a work-related Skype call, a very important work-related Skype call. And in the middle of the call, it got very crunchy. The audio just started crunching hard, like to the point where I couldn't even understand what they were saying. And then like 15 seconds later, the computer just crashed. So it's like, oh boy, why does it got to do that? Hopefully I can figure it out. If anyone has any audio crunching related thoughts on how to fix that, I'd love to hear it. So please don't shy away from sharing things like that. Oh, I was just trying to get this back into the bag ever so nicely to keep things clean here. 1 second, please. You found out about the NES very early by seeing your grandmother play magic jewelry. Whoa! So that must have been on like a multi-cart. That's pretty cool. The replacement items are cool. I didn't know about buying stuff directly from Nintendo as a kid, only from the store. No, for sure, right? Yeah, Nintendo, you know, used to have like the repair services and all that. Used to be able to get a lot of stuff directly from them. Okay, hopefully that's all back in the bag pretty nicely now. So I will set that off to the side. So now we don't go crunching that up at some point. Otherwise, again, we got the game. I might as well take that out so we can play that later. I'm going to need the AC adapter from when we're about to set up the NES here. Grab that guy out of there. Might as well grab this guy out of here as well. Grab 1 controller. Again, it was really nice back in the day. Consoles coming with 2 controllers. The Zapper, I don't think we're going to be playing any Zapper today, but we will have a look under there. You get, you know, your choice of AV cables or the RF cables, which is pretty nice. Also get a bit of a piece here, should you be going the RF route. And of course, that leaves us with the console, which I will ever so carefully try and get out of the box here. It's in there pretty tight. 1 second, there we go. Get that guy there. And I think we're probably ready to switch back over to the main camera. So give me 1 second, please. As I kind of just put a few of these things away, I'll put this back on here to keep that out of the way. All right, we're back. So we got our NES console now. We've got our Mario Duck Hunt world-class track meet cartridge. I still left this guy hanging around though. We don't need that at this exact moment. What else do I need? Okay, so I don't need the AV cables because I've already rigged together, again, the most like convoluted, complicated kind of setup imaginable, where I have my AV splitter so that I can hook it up to a CRT that we're going to put right here, and also see it on the CRT that we normally play and stream games from. So it's kind of going to be weird. Let me put this somewhere safe for now. Okay, and here's the scary part. I gotta get a TV here that we're gonna be playing some games from. How's that look? Got the real CRT out today. The mini CRT. It's out of focus. What's out of focus? You think all modern consoles should come with a few additional accessories? You know, that'd be cool, right? I mean, the Switch, they come with different things. I guess the Joy-Cons, the thing to hold the Joy-Cons in. But no, accessories are fun. It looked like the camera went out of focus. The question is it still out of focus? Or are we looking pretty good now? Hopefully it looks good. Thank you, Hackin' Quackin', for letting us know. So that's the TV. This is the NES. We'll put that there. We'll plug in our AC adapter. This is when it's revealed that I've never actually played the NES before, when I fail miserably at hooking this thing up. We are now, Christian. Yeah, we're playing on a CRT. Just for fun. Gotta go under the thing here to plug the AC adapter in. Give me just a second. Well, I probably trip over like 1,000 cords. Okay, I think we've got power. Hopefully. That's in there pretty good. Hello. Okay, what else do we need to do? We got power. Like I said, in terms of the AV cables, where are they? Under here somewhere. Here we go. So for the NES, you only need video and one audio. It is mono audio. So we'll plug those two guys in, just like that. Dragon Gamer, you actually have a CRT television, though you don't have anything to use it for. So retro games look great. So in addition to this, I also contemplated setting up this. Just trying to be very careful here. Well, this is more of a flat screen, but the games look terrible on it compared to the CRT. Because originally I was having trouble with the CRT where like it doesn't look good when you show it with the camera. But I was able to fix that. We'll see now that we're actually streaming if that is true or not. But as a last resort, I was going to use this guy instead. It's a good TV though, just for like being portable. It weighs about 1/10 of what the CRT does. And if you just need to hook something up to like test something real quick, or you're not too worried about the quality, that TV gets the job done. No stereo, not on the NES, no. Just one audio output for the old 8-bit machine here. What do I want to hook up next? So we got the AV into there. So again, the AV from the NES goes into my splitter, which splits it to my other TV that I can see. So I can't exactly see this right now, but I do also have these cables, which we're gonna plug into the back here. So put yellow there, put the red one there. Okay, and then the last thing is probably the controller. The NES wasn't friends with stereo yet. No, it was not, Lucky Bacon. I'm gonna appreciate you all stopping by here. True story, that CRT somehow switched itself on once. You do not keep it plugged in now. So, like, just for example, if I turn the CRT on, did I plug the CRT in? No, I did not. It would have been rather silly if I had tried to turn it on without doing that. Question is, which outlet do I want to use? I think this guy here. Close that door down there. Okay. This was a problem with another CRT I had once, where when it's on, the screen is just black. So like you can't even tell. Like if I press power now, the red light comes on, at least on this one. The other one I'm talking about didn't even have that on the front. But like, it's on video 1, but it's just black. So like, if that video 1 disappears, which I think it does eventually, it's hard to even tell that the TV is on, which is kind of silly. Like there, like you can't even tell. The last thing I have to do is go over there and turn on my other CRT. This might be the world's first double CRT gaming setup. Hopefully I'm not messing up the camera too much by walking by it here. I'm also kind of walking over a tightrope here because in order to get the AV cables to stretch all the way to the other side of the room, it's like really tight. So if I trip over it, it will probably break everything. Let's hope that doesn't happen. You may have heard it just degaussing there, but okay. Looks like that's coming on. Very good. So before we get into the cart that came with it, perhaps we'll play some Zelda for just a moment. Hopefully that's well positioned. Let's see. So let's play some Zelda. I think I know how this works. I think I've played some retro games every once in a while. Does the TV that nostalgic faint high-pitched noise? Oh yes. Well, hopefully you can't hear anything of that variety. I did one time do a video where I thought it would be neat to just, have the TV on in the background, and I couldn't hear anything coming from it, and like it was on mute. But later on, after uploading the video, I heard that people said that there was a high-pitched noise the whole time, which was not great. Wheels, hi Wheels. Your favorite console, second favorite being Nintendo 64. Yeah, the NES, is my favorite console. We love the NES, love all the different consoles, and definitely want to give all of them the spotlight that they deserve as time goes on. Just make sure you don't break things from tripping. Exactly. All right, so we're going to play some Zelda 1, everybody. We're going to put it into the cartridge, or into the console, just as it goes. And let's press the power button. All right, so it appears it is not working. I would never be able to figure out why, but that's what happens a lot of the time. Unlike flat screens that don't use CRT stuff. I wonder if I did something wrong there. No, unfortunately, if that worked, can you imagine if it had worked? If it had just turned on, how blown all of our minds would have been. But yeah, don't put your Famicom Disk System games inside of your NES there. Let's do it the real way with the actual cartridge. Where did I put Zelda 1? Zelda 1 was placed over here, I believe. Let's get them both out just for fun. So let's start with gold Zelda 1. Now let's see, will it work if we don't push it down? It's not working. And if we push it down, get a little bit of a better connection going on. There you go. Now I noticed it's not showing up on my TV. Why? Why would it not be showing up on the CRT? Did I do something wrong in my connections? Because I won't be able to play if I can't see it on the other side of the room. You get to enjoy the opening though. Many years ago, Prince Darkness Ganon stole one of the Triforce. Oh no. Oh, this might have come out a little bit. No. Oh, there it is. Okay. Just had to wiggle the thing a little bit. Sometimes that's what you gotta do. Hopefully you can see everything okay. Yeah, CRT surprisingly showing up decently on the camera from the looks of it. Happy Zelda Day, everybody. Yes, 40 years ago, we got the original Zelda adventure. The Triforce with power, exactly. But I recommend the NES Toaster or the top loader. So I can't recommend the top loader. I can't, because it doesn't have AV output. It only has RF output, and the RF output is like really bad quality. They have like bars on the screen. It's unfortunate that, we have the AV Famicom, which I don't think you can see now because the TV's in the way, but that's great. Great video quality, AV output, so you can't complain too much. There was a prototype that showed up a few years back that was like the Toaster NES, or rather the top loader NES, but it had AV on the back. And it didn't look like it was modded. It looked like it was probably just like a prototype or something that they built back when they were considering maybe including AV with it. And that, I think, sold for thousands of dollars on eBay. But it just goes to show that they were thinking about it. And then they decided to cheap out, unfortunately, because they sold this for like $50. The top loader with the dog bone controller. It was really just meant as like a cheap, if you haven't gotten to gaming yet, Super Nintendo's already out, but maybe you want this cheap way to kind of get into it, which is too bad where the AV Famicom is a lot better feature-wise. As a fellow screen recorder, I can understand the issue of camera glare. Oh, do we got a bit of camera glare? I guess we do. What is glaring anyway? I think it's my other TV is maybe glaring a little bit. Oh no, it's the chat. It's my laptop down here. Okay, hopefully the glare's not too bad. Once you get into the game and it's like not a black background, it should look a little bit better. Oh, we got no files in it, everybody. That kind of happens. Now let's check the other cartridge. Let's see the other cartridge. I guess I don't have to hold reset when I turn it off. It's not like the data loss can get any worse than it already is. Well, that's the gold cartridge for you. Zelda, one of those games that was always notorious for kind of the leading, and it seems that today would be no different. But let's check out old gray here and see what we get. The battery has died. Well, has it died or have they just like erased for some reason? Let's find out. Oh, gray screen of doom. Okay, we're gonna hold reset this time in case there is any data there. I usually kind of take it out. Man, I play all my NES games on the AV Famicom, so this is a funny experience. Aha! See, it was the lid. You have to close the lid. It totally knows if the lid's open or not. Here we go. Oh, there we go. This one has Andrew on it. I played a whole 0 seconds of the game. All right. Okay, hopefully you can all see somewhat well. We're playing some brief Zelda for Zelda's 40th here. But that just goes to show. So we hooked up an NES, we've put a game into it, and we're playing it, everyone, on an old-fashioned CRT. Now, it's not like the world's oldest CRT. It's probably a kind of later CRT in the age of CRTs, but it gets the job done. I've also never really done any face cams. This is like the closest you're ever going to get to me kind of be in front of the camera here. Oh, okay, we didn't take any hits. No, the no-hit run is ruined. This one's probably also like the furthest away I've ever, played the game. It's a good 10 feet away. 10 feet away? Yeah, 10, 12 feet away. His name is Link, Christian. So that's the thing that I've never really liked about Zelda. I like naming your file, but I don't like when they take that name and include it in the game. Because of course his name is Link. When I play the game, I want his name to be Link. But then, if you don't put Andrew in, how are you supposed to know whose file it is? It could be anybody's file if you don't put your own name there. So maybe an option to like, separate the file name and the character name, or I don't know. History is made. Andrew's camming and let's play. Here we go, everyone. Well, come to think of it, I've kind of been wondering if I should do this or not. It seems like kind of tradition, where if we play Super Mario Bros. 1, I kind of have to beat it. All right, everyone. We got Super Mario, we got Duck Hunt, we got World Class Track Meet. It's Mario one time, let's go. No messing with the RAM today? Not on the console anyway. In terms of the video, yesterday we uploaded Contra. The corrupting Contra. Next week I'm really excited for the video we're gonna upload. I should probably increase my 1-up stash just in case, although so far this is going well. Again, because the TV I have it hooked up to over there is also a CRT, it's like, there's no delay or anything like that, which is really good, so. If I die, I'm probably gonna blame it on like how far away I'm standing from it, but that will be that. How are you playing on the other side to see the screen? So again, this is like a little mini CRT that I have. Over there, at the other side of the room, is the CRT that I sit in front of on the couch when I'm playing games, when we're streaming games. So I have a splitter where I have cables going to this TV and cables going all the way over there to that TV. And it's working okay so far. But all right, so far, finally I can prove to you all that I really do have the NES skills that I claim. Beating Mario 1's not that big of a deal, but we're gonna do it anyway, just because it's fun. Someday we'll get to the other side of the old ceiling zone here. You didn't hold reset that time, oh no. Oh no! When I turned off Zelda? So here's my reset story. I never used to believe the tall tales of like you have to hold reset to turn the game off, or else you lose your save data. Oh wow, that's no good. Why did I even bother about that coin? Because it never happened to me. You know, all the years I'd played Star Tropics and all that, anytime that I had lost save data, I just chalked it up to like a dirty cartridge, bad connection, caused something weird going on with the data. Until I played an NES game called not Bandit Kings of Ancient China, Destiny of a Warrior. No, Destiny of an Emperor, the Capcom RPG that takes place in ancient China. And I was playing through that. I was on file 1, I think. I turned it off, didn't hold reset. I was about halfway through the game, went and got something to eat, came back an hour later. I did not even take the game out of the console. Just turned it off, left, came back, turned it back on. Turned it on, there's a message. History book 2 is gone. The second file just obliterated because it was a used game. So like there were already the other files, even though I was playing on file 1. And I'm like, whoa, dodged the bullet with that one. Is if that, if that was my file, well, I'd be replaying like half an RPG again. And it's not fun to have to replay an RPG. Like you saw with B3313, I didn't mind having to replay that again because it's like, it's a really fun game and such. But an RPG, you don't really want to have to replay an RPG. You already know what's happening. It's not like it's a really different experience the second time. So I was really happy that it was not my number 1 file. But then I'm like, okay, well, why did History Book 2 erase? Because again, I'd always kind of chalked it up to maybe there was a bad connection with the cartridge or some other external factor. But here we had where an hour earlier, the file was there and I didn't even take the cartridge out of the console. So the only thing it could have been was because I did not hold reset when I turned the console off. And it makes sense that this would happen to Destiny of an Emperor and not any other game that I had played. Because my understanding of why you hold reset is because when you turn the NES off, this is like an engineering issue that they never really ironed out in the early days because they didn't even conceive of there being battery backup cartridges at the time. But when the console turns off, a random bit of data gets written to a random part of the game. And that wouldn't matter if it, of memory. And that wouldn't matter if all that, RAM was disappearing when the game gets turned off anyway. But then with the advent of backup batteries, if that random junk data gets written to the save backup RAM area, well, that's obviously going to corrupt that data. And that must have been what happened to Destiny of an Emperor. And Destiny of an Emperor has huge save data. Like, it's essentially Pokemon, but if you were catching Chinese warlords instead of Pokemon. There's like a whole box system where like you take like 6 of them with you and you store the rest of them in your box. And they all have like a ton of stats. So the allocated save RAM per file is huge. And so for a game like that, turning it off without holding the reset button, the chance of that junk data getting written to that giant block of save data, save RAM, is much greater than say a game like Star Tropics or Zelda 1, where you're really only saving a couple things like rupees, what items you have, a couple of flags and such. So that's why the first game it was like ever super clear, it was because I didn't hold reset, was Destiny of an Emperor. And ever since, I guess except for that one time I just forgot right now, but not like there was anything important anyway, I've always held the reset button when I turned the game off. That was my story of holding the reset button. Hope you enjoyed it. Boomer Bear, hello, no minus world this time. Can we see the other TV in the reflection? Oh, so actually I think what you're seeing in the glass, oh yeah, you can see it. You can see it. It's held up well so far. You believe the instructions are to prevent the CPU from, there you go. There you go. Exactly, Dragon Gamer, yes. Hello, Richard. You look forward to a new Super Mario Galaxy movie coming out in April. I still can't believe it's coming out April 1st. Jack Black made it look so cool when he got into character as Bowser. Well, that's nice. I didn't know if he did anything recently. And Cast Choice was good for the movie. This is like a horror story you'd tell around the fire with the last save file. Thank goodness it wasn't mine though. Yeah, again, I'm not, RPGs are like the last thing you want to have to replay. At least a platformer or something, it's like you can kind of rush through it if you want, but RPGs is kind of, you know, do their own thing, and you don't really need to experience them twice right off the bat. Okay, 8-2 everyone, we're almost at the end of our Mario 1 playthrough here. Can you hear the game audio at all? I never really asked. Since I'm standing next to the TV, hopefully you can hear it a little bit. Otherwise, I could turn it up a little. But otherwise, hopefully it's looking okay. It must look kind of funny. I'm like looking over there, and yet the TV's over here. But like you said, you can even see it in the reflection of it, so that's kind of cool. Oh! Okay, let's get back in the groove here. Let's go over there. I'm even doing it with the gloves on. I debated if I should leave the gloves on. So here's the thing. So, again, in my short, like I said, you can just jump it from the pipe. Barely. Barely. Everyone kind of had their own strategy, though. That short was really cool because people would share, like, their strategy for how they do it. And it made me laugh because people would say, like, this part's not that hard. You just have to do this. And they'd lift, like, they'd list a bunch of instructions. But the fact that there even needs to be instructions, I think shows just how trickier that jump is compared to, like, every other jump in the game. Where, like, you do have to think about it, at least a little. Where all the other jumps are just, like, you kind of do whatever. All right. You don't have a splitter, but you do have a component cable switch that you have plugged into the TV to easily switch between console and DVD players. Nice. Yeah, those are great. Those switch boxes are absolutely awesome. Never seen a video where someone ran an NES on batteries. That was an experience. So kind of like the disc system where you could, I think, see batteries. That thing runs on. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Oh, no. Okay. So don't forget, this is your last chance to get powered up. It's here. It's the first one. It's on the right side and on the left side. Can we do it? I don't think... Oh, I shouldn't say that. I'll say it when we're done, if it stays true. All right, so here I'm gonna... Oh! Okay, we don't need any more power-ups anyway. All right, over the hole. So here's the Koopa Troopa that, like, because of a glitch, doesn't always kill the Hammer Bros, so I should probably just take it easy. Let's just use our firepower. We got it, we might as well use it. And here's my favorite block, everybody. Again, there's like no coins in Bowser's Castle pretty much. There's like the one invisible coin block. So since we're so far from a life, there's really no point in even hitting that. All right, last level. Yeah, the definition, Super Tom Brother, of an RPG role-playing game. I know, I think role-playing game, I think more like turn-based and stuff. Again, I don't think it matters to get worked up, or no, not worked up. Too concerned about the definition of it. Just, if it's a good game, it's a good game. Yeah, but to me, it probably isn't really an RPG. RPG probably has to, have like leveling up at the very least, experience system. So I don't usually group Zelda as an RPG, but if people do, that's fine. Which Home Alone game were you replaying for some of your live streams? You were wondering because you were... Yeah. So we played Home Alone SNES, Home Alone 2 SNES, and Home Alone 2 on the original Game Boy, which was pretty funky. It has the doors where you have to hold up for like 5 seconds before you go through instead of just pressing up once, like any other game. Okay, everyone, we are so close to being at the end here. Okay, here we go. And that's that. Mario 1 on a CRT TV on the multi-cart with world-class track meet and duck hunt on it. How many times have we beat Mario 1 on the channel now? Really enjoying the live stream, Hack and Quack, and thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate you leaving that like. Again, join the Discord server too if you're not in there. Get up to date on when the next streams are going to be. How many Game Genies? Have you ever stacked more to get more codes for games? Do they stack? I have a few Game Genies. You want to talk about Game Genies for a second? If I leave this going, am I going to get copyright claimed because of like the victory music? Oh, I guess I could pause it. Why can you pause on this screen? It's so dumb. We'll be right back. I'm gonna go get some Game Genies. Let's go get some Game Genies here. Haven't really thought about that. I haven't used a Game Genie in so long, but let's find a few. So we got those, we got that. Is this a different one? That's a different one. That's a different one. Okay. I will grab these 3 then. All right, so since you were asking about Game Genies, again, I love these streams because I just get to kind of talk with any random thing that comes to mind. I don't know why there are so many variants of the Game Genie. This is the one that, you know, that seems most common with like the gold and the purple sticker. And then you get black with the purple sticker. And then you get black with the gold sticker. And then of course, the piece de resistance is this guy, which you had to like order in for, and this allows you to use the Game Genie on your top loader. But yeah, that's my NES Game Genie catalog right there. I have no idea why they kept changing what the Game Genie looked like. But so yeah, can you really stack codes? Like put like 9 codes in if you do all this? That's crazy. Game Genie is the only way you play your NES games wheels. Well, it's funny because if you use the Game Genie too much, the pins will like separate inside your NES, and like the only way it will work is if you keep using the Game Genie with it, which is kind of funny. You ran Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge for the Game Boy. And Deathless as well. Nice. Very, very nice. I remember hearing about codes that let you access out-of-bounds worlds. Oh, yes. Yes, for sure. Yes. And there's like the tennis trick as well. I'm thinking we'll probably do that on stream someday for a laugh. But yeah, that's the Game Genie. That's the NES. Hooked up to a CRT. We just beat Mario 1. Any thoughts on that? Was that interesting in the slightest? Was this completely unnecessary? Yeah, this is a really cool TV. I really like this TV. It's nice having a small CRT for portability reasons. And also, I never anticipated using it for like this back when I got it, but it ended up working out very well. You had fun watching you play that game, Dragon Gamer. Thank you. That was Mario 1. Again, we always like to beat Mario 1 whenever we get the chance. Thanks for the heart emojis there, the heart reactions. What brand of TV? It's a Sony. No, it's a Toshiba. This one is a Toshiba TV. The other one that I was showing you guys, it's some bootleg brand, but again, it gets the job done. This guy over here, this one's a Symphonic. That flat one. I've never heard of a Symphonic in my life, but again, it's a little TV that kind of gets the job done if you need it to. But yeah, that's, I think, might be about a wrap on the things I wanted to share with you all tonight. We started off a little rocky. It was supposed to be from 8 to 10. We are now approaching 11 here, but I'm glad we got it in. Again, no background music. I missed the background music, guys. I really was enjoying the background music last week. I shouldn't lean on this. Again, it already weighs like 50 million pounds. Like, you think it's cool owning a CRT until you have to move it. Then you're cursing it. Sorry, Christian. Oh, Sony. Yeah, I thought you were saying sorry. No, but of course, the Sony, Magnet Box, all the good brands. Do you want to show an example of what they can do? You have something for Bomberman if you have it. Very silly code. Okay. I think what we'll do... How clean are the pins is a good question too, because I don't like the... I don't know the last time I used a Game Genie. Could be a lot of dust in there. I don't think we're going to do any Game Genie stuff today. But I will find an NES that I'm not... Because this one works pretty well. So I don't think I want to mess with that too much. I will find an NES that is kind of like in terms of working. And that will become like the dedicated NES for Game Genie. So not today, but I appreciate that. Because yeah, we're going to be wrapping up here in just a second as we approach the 2-hour mark. But appreciate you all stopping by. Just got to test things more and more, Fennec. So it's funny because things worked... all the things that worked great last week didn't work this week. The earphone, the background music, which were great last week, not this week. But from what I've heard from all of you, hopefully visually, it hasn't been as choppy. And again, I figured out the microphone, how to wear it better. So hopefully I sound better this week. So like, again, everything that sucked last week is better now. And everything that was great last week. So next week, we're going to have like a really good stream, maybe. Hopefully that's the plan. Differences from SNES to Wii Mario All-Stars? I literally think it's just the ROM on a disc, unfortunately. This is such a great stream, Prof City. Good information. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I've just had so much like I've wanted to talk about for so long, but like how do you make like this can't be a video, right? Like just grabbing stuff off the shelf and having fun with it. This is much more my tool set. My tool set? My forte? Oh, it's not my favorite word though. I like Rockman more than forte, but like I just love talking about games and having fun with them, and I think this is like the perfect venue for that. So I really appreciate you all stopping by and enjoying it. And on Wednesday, there should be an edited version of the last stream that we did going up, and I'm hoping that like every Wednesday I can do a bit of like a clip compilation. Well, not even like a clip compilation, but like a cool edited display. I don't know the right word for it. Cool edited thing that kind of highlights all the cool stuff that we talk about and do during these streams. So hope that you enjoyed that. You'll see on Wednesday, hopefully. Again, join the Discord server so you can hear what's going on. This was a blast, Dragon Gamer. Thank you. The stream is like a gaming display. Finally, the channel name makes sense. Because of course, way back in the day, it used to be I would do some gameplay videos, and then I would like sit on my couch, and I would just like sit there and like hold things up for like 30 minutes and like talk about them. I'd be like, this is the power pad. It's pretty great. And that I just do that for 30 minutes for some reason. But to do it like this, and now I can, you know, chat with you all and we can share thoughts and information and all that. So much better. This is like, I look so forward to this. It's only the second week, but like all week I look forward to the next one. And I'm gonna be looking forward to the next week as well. So I'll see you all next Saturday. Thank you, Wheels. Thank you, Boomer. Thank you, everyone. RC Shaggy, try to find it again or just play it on Nintendo Switch Online. What was that referring to? Had a great team. Yeah. So it was cool getting this set up. I'm sure we'll set up more consoles and stuff in the future. I'm glad the CRT worked out well. So part of the reason that the video might be better is because when going into the camera to try and figure out how to make this not look bad, because when I initially did it, it looked bad. You know, you'd see the scan lines and all that. So I went into the camera to try and fix that. I realized that all the settings I thought I had set up for the last stream on the camera were not actually in place because I was on the wrong mode. So after I switched to the other mode, it looked way better. So again, hopefully the streams get a little more better as time goes on. But thanks everyone. Again, Lucky Bacon, Dragon Gamer, Chance, Christian, Boomer Bear, RC Shaggy, Wheels, Richard, Azul, everybody who stopped by tonight. Hope you have a good one, and I'll see you on Tuesday for B3313. Don't press that yellow switch. Don't do it. And I'll see you then.